Part of our daily lives are to interact with people. Whether meeting someone on your way to work, buying a coffee, discussing with your colleagues, or purchasing a snack, all these are inevitable situations that you will have to encounter every day. Most people don't mind it, but if you're one of the people living with social anxiety, perhaps these situations are truly a struggle to do. Before we begin, let me tell you a bit about social anxiety. Social anxiety, or social phobia, is an intense fear of being judged in social situations. People living with social anxiety analyze every situation, decision, and actions they made to the public to identify if they did something embarrassing and the like. To avoid such negative perceptions, these people instead opt to avoid being in social and public gatherings. If you want to make sure you're one of these people, make sure to watch this video until the end. Hi there and welcome to Top Wisdom. For today's video, we'll talk about the 12 signs that you would tell if you might have social anxiety. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel for your daily dose of self-help content. If you're ready, then let's begin. 1. You are afraid of social interactions. People living with social anxiety fear to be viewed negatively by other people. For them, every public interaction is an opportunity for them to fail or give a wrong impression to others. Every time they converse with other people, they worry too much about giving a wrong response, sounding unsure, making awkward gestures, and more. For these reasons, people living with social anxiety are always having a hard time having a small chat, or even in eye contact with the person they are talking to. 2. You are afraid that others will notice your anxiety. Having social anxiety, you don't only worry about what others think about you, you also are anxious that other people might know that you're sweating, shaking, or that your heart is pounding hard. Just thinking about it makes you more uncomfortable than you already are. 3. You are afraid of situations where you think you might be judged. Just think about having a presentation in front of your coworkers, or a class if you're still a student. How about going to a job interview, or asking your crush to go out after a long time of admiring him or her? Even before the event happens, you might think that you already sounded dumb during the presentation, that you failed the interview, or that you already got rejected by your crush. Although it is normal to feel nervous, if you know for yourself that these situations will intensely terrify you, then it might be a sign of social anxiety. 4. Most people think that you are a shy, quiet, and reserved person. Because of your fear of social interactions and public gatherings, you tend to not talk or just stay in a corner during such situations. For this reason, people might think that you're a quiet person. While most people with social anxiety long for friendship and bond with other people, social anxiety most often stops them from building such connections, which ends up making them feel alone and isolated. 5. You anticipate that the worst will happen. During an upcoming social event or even a simple situation where you need to interact with people, do you see the situation as you embarrassing yourself? What if your voice suddenly shakes during the presentation? What if you don't know the answer to their questions? What if you volunteer to answer the question on the board, but you end up with a wrong answer and everyone laughs at you? If many negative what-ifs come to your mind, then it is a big sign of social anxiety. 6. You are extremely afraid to talk to strangers. Ordering in a fast food restaurant, asking for the thing that you need on the grocery, or simply approaching a stranger to ask for directions. These situations are terrifying for someone with social anxiety. It makes their heart pound so much, stutter, or do weird gestures. But as much as we hate to admit it, talking to a stranger on a daily basis has already been part of our lives. 7. You criticize yourself after a conversation. Whether the conversation went well or the other way, people with social anxiety will always think that it's a total failure. When you criticize yourself after a conversation at a social event, then it might be a sign of having social anxiety. 8. Your fear of interaction comes with physical and emotional signs. Not only is your mind getting anxious about an upcoming interaction, but your body also develops symptoms which worsens the situation. Some physical signs of social anxiety include rapid heartbeat, extreme sweating, trembling voice, blushing, dry mouth, dizziness, twitching of muscles, nausea, trouble catching your breath, and shaking. If this sounds like you, then it's most likely that you have social anxiety. 9. You are worried of embarrassing yourself. At some point in our lives, there will come a day that we are going to embarrass ourselves, and that's okay. It happens to everyone. No human being is perfect after all. If you're constantly worried that you might have embarrassed yourself or make yourself look dumb in front of other people, it's another clear sign of social anxiety. 10. You specifically avoid social gatherings. It is your choice, but you may come up with various excuses in order to not attend a social gathering. Parties, dates, dances, and other social events are what you want to avoid most of the time, if not always. Why? Let's go back to number 9. You're worried that you might embarrass yourself. Instead of going out, you have to choose the safer choice, which is to stay at home. Although it is okay for you to avoid such gatherings, especially if you really don't feel like it, it can actually worsen your situation. You won't go anywhere if you keep on running away from what fears you the most. You may even lose some opportunities. Unfortunately, this can end up costing you the long term. 11. You get stressed by anything that involves interaction with strangers. Need to introduce yourself in front of many people, or even just in a small group? Perhaps you need to be watched while you're doing something, or you need to be the center of attention. These common social triggers, even as simple as meeting someone's gaze, can actually cause a person with social anxiety a significant distress. Such situations may not be an issue for most people, but it is not the same for everyone. People with social anxiety often struggle alone. Such circumstances make them feel uncomfortable, and they simply cannot open up with anyone because they are afraid to be judged or to be seen as weak by other people. 12. You wish for something to happen before a social event or activity. Before a special event that involves you to speak or to present something, do you wish for a certain situation to happen just for the event to be canceled? Few hours before your job interview, do you want to feel sick so that you have a reason to cancel your appointment? Wishing for something to happen just so the social event gets halted is a sign that you have social anxiety. As mentioned, many people are trying to overcome this struggle alone. Little did they know that social anxiety can be dealt with through professional help. If you're one of the few people who are experiencing social anxiety, don't be afraid to ask for help. The sooner you deal with it, the faster you'll be able to overcome this fear. You'll just be surprised by the opportunities that will come after you have succeeded in overcoming social anxiety. And that ends our video for today. What are your thoughts? Are you experiencing social anxiety? Perhaps you have dealt with it already. How about sharing some tips by commenting below? Who knows, you might be able to help other people who are currently struggling with social anxiety. Nevertheless, I hope that we were able to help you through this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the notification bell button so you'll be notified once we upload new videos. Once again, this is Top Wisdom. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next video.